Sampurita pamita par mita balena vidvansiyo kila kilesa samola jalam tene valanda araham arahoti namang vandami buddha mamalam adaye tapetva. Homage to the exalted one, the worldly one, the perfectly enlightened one. Samanta cakkavalesu atra gacchantu devata Saddammang munirajassa sunantu sagga mokkadam Dhamma savana kalo ayam badanta Dhamma savana kalo ayam badanta Dhamma savana kalo ayam badanta Namo tansa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhansa Namo tansa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhansa Namo tansa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhansa Adisila sikha, adichitta sikha, adipanya sikhati. Dear friends in the Dhamma, now we are going to discuss about Buddhism. First of all, I would like to know what is your idea, what is your opinion that what Buddha explained.
Opinion?
Yes. What is your understanding, what Buddha taught? Not this handout.
Right.
As usual, as you know,
right.
What Buddha taught?
Well, he taught many things, but the basic is he taught to alleviate suffering. Mm-hmm. He taught the way to become through discourses to be a better person. Mm. He taught how to become enlightened. He wanted to do that. Mm.
What is the suffering that already you have known what Buddha taught?
Dukkha.
What is the dukkha?
Unsatisfactoriness.
What is the unsatisfactoriness? Please give an example.
Death, losing a job.
Those sufferings are understood by other people, other religious people also, not only by Buddhists.
Right.
What's the difference that Buddhists and other religious people?
I don't know.
Okay, good, very good. Unknowing is, if you know, you don't know, right. That is good. You are intelligent. If you know that you don't know, Buddha said very clearly, you are intelligent.
Right.
That is very important. Buddha said actually, before Buddha did renunciation, before Buddha go to the jungle for meditation, first of all he understood old age and sickness, death. He understood. He realized. But after he enlightened, he told, I understood something that before I didn't know. That is very important. Before Buddha did renunciation, abhinikamana, he knew very well death, sickness, old age, and also death. He realized, he understood. After he enlightened, after 6 years, by practicing his own way. After he enlightened, he explained that I understood very special thing that before I didn't understand. That is very important thing. You know, in this society, every people have understood death is suffering, sickness is suffering, and old age is suffering. They have understood these sufferings. Buddhism also has explained these things, but it is not the special thing in Buddhism. The very special thing in Buddhism is understanding of the real meaning of suffering. That is very important. What is your idea, Mr. David? What is the real suffering that Buddha has explained?
Attachments to experience. I mean, I don't know if that's what the Buddha said.
Yes.
Like,
why we have attachment?
Because we cling to things.
Why we cling? Why we have clinging? For example, when we go to the mirror, for seeing our figure, we go to the mirror. Do we have attachment? Do we go to put it our hand or catch it? No. Why we do it? Why don't we catch it?
Because we know it's not real.
Yes.
It's not, you can't hold on to. But because we're ignorant, we think that we can hold on to.
Yes. That is very important. We have clinging. We have big attachment because of ignorance or delusion. If we have real understanding, now there is a very beautiful picture. If I go to catch it, what I meet? I meet the wall, not the pictures. If I go to put my hand on Mr. David's body, I meet his physical body. I don't meet Mr. David. This is the reality. The world, you know, in the world, they have clingings, they have cravings, lust, because of no real understanding, because of ignorance or delusion. That is why Buddha said, the main cause of suffering is ignorance. The close reason is clinging, or lust, or desire. But the main root is, the higher root is delusion or ignorance. If we have clear understanding, when we go to the mirror, this is my figure, it is not outside, I never go to catch it. But how about when we go to with our cat or dog? What happens to him? He goes to bark it. What is the reason? He have a fight. He have desire or anger.
He thinks it's another dog.
Yes. What is the reason? He thinks that there is another thing there because of ignorance. Buddha also said, you know, if you have clear understanding what happens to our world, actually, gradually, our desire, our anger is going down. Gradually, it ceases. Then, we should understand, especially, Buddha has explained suffering, as you mentioned, you are clear. You are correct. But the people, the common people, have understood suffering, death, or old age, or sickness. It is not the real meaning of suffering. The real meaning of suffering, we don't know the reality, what happens to the world. On the other hand, there is another part of ignorance. For example, when somebody has come in here, who has blamed you one day? What happens to your mind?
When you come here?
Yes.
Well, hopefully you're going to to learn something.
Yes, if you have no understanding what Buddha taught,
Right.
as a common person, when somebody who has blamed you is coming here, sometimes we get angry.
Really?
What is the reason?
They get angry?
Yes.
From the past. Like
From the past. Oh, okay, I see.
One day he has blamed you.
Right.
Now he is coming here. Now you are so happy discussing what Buddha taught.
Right.
When that person is coming here, what happens to us? We usually get angry because he has blamed me. What is the reason? We still living in the past. And also, we binded the sound with him. For example, when I put this pen here, the sound arises. This sound belongs to this one. Does this sound belong to this pen?
Belongs to the pen and the table.
Does this sound belong to my ear? No. This sound doesn't belong to this pen, table or my ear. But without this instrument, we have no sound.
That's true.
But we can bind this sound to anything. That is the reality. When you speak something, when you blame me, this is also like that. This blaming doesn't belong to this body or my ear or his mouth. But because of ignorance, we combine this sound to him. This is one of the cause of suffering. And now we discussed the several reasons of suffering. One of them is we live in the past. On the other hand, we always going to give the priority to the outside. Especially because of ignorance, the suffering arises. Buddha's all messages focus on this reality. How we overcome suffering. You know, when somebody thinks that the figure is there, although he mentions that this is impermanent, many times he can repeat. But his desire or attachment never ends. Until, while he is mentioning about this impermanent, his lust may go away. But after he go away, again his desire or craving or anger starts. Buddhism advises us how we get wisdom or intelligence or understanding seeing this reality. Then this is the main foundation of Buddhism. We should have this understanding at the very beginning. Buddha said very clearly, when you go to practice what I taught as meditation or virtue, first of all, we should have clear understanding about this reality. Actually, this is the heart of Buddhism. Buddha said, this is as paticca samuppada, or dependent origination, or causality. The causality of the heart of the Buddhism. If we don't know the real meaning of causality or dependent origination, be sure you don't know that Buddha has appeared in the world. You may met the Buddha's statue, you have read a lot of books, but really you don't know that a Buddha appeared in the world. Even though we are Buddhist by born. That is very important. You know, some people think that every religion is same, common. Actually, Buddhism has some things which is common to other religions too. But when we go to the deep level, Buddhism has an identity. Nowhere we can see it. Okay, before I am going to discuss with handout, first of all I would like to some steps about Buddhist teachings. That is very important. You know, everybody suddenly can come to the deep level. We should go to the Buddha's path little by little.
Yeah, I was reading in the Access to Insight last night on the web, and they said that they're very small. He says enlightenment doesn't happen all at once. He says it's a very small step-by-step process.
Yes, very good. Yes, Buddhism has some kind of order. It is like, you know, when we go to the ocean is go to the deep level little by little.
They talk about that.
Yes, from the sea coast. Yes, from the sea coast, little by little, it goes to the deep level. Buddhism also like that. You know, everybody is not more intelligent in the society. Their intelligence is different. Therefore, we should discuss gradual path what Buddha taught. Okay? When we discuss what Buddha taught, it has some kind of gradual path, as I mentioned before. I think, Mr. David, you can remember what I have explained before. And what is the first step that we should do as Buddha's listener? Yes, that is also in some kind of step. But when we go to the Sila, we have some kind of more understanding. At the very beginning, even though somebody doesn't believe next birth or enlightenment, everybody who are in the society, they like some kind of success in this society to succeed with other people. What do they do for the success of this life?
What do they do?
Yes, even though, you know, there are some people who doesn't know Buddhism. What they do in this society to succeed?
Work.
Yes, you are correct. You are correct. Not only work, there are several, there are 4 things. Okay. Before work, what should you have? You should have education.
Yeah.
First need that to succeed in this society, we should have education. Without education, you have no job.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Huh?
No job.
The first step of education. And in Buddhism, there are many things, many teachings that we can see how we succeed in education. When we study something, actually, especially, we start our education in our childhood. As our parents or elders, they point out us what is the correct things that we should learn. And that is one of the duties of parents. Giving good education for their children is one of the main duties of the parents. Therefore, to succeed this life itself, even though we believe next birth or not or enlightenment, we should succeed this life. At the very beginning, we should have education. The second thing is, what is the second thing, Mr. David? After education, where we are going to? For the jobs. Economy. Economy is the second thing, doing jobs.
The struggle for existence.
Economy or economic, Mr. David? Economy.
Yeah, economy.
Economy.
But is it economy or employment?
Employment, yes, employment. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, work.
Employment. This is the second thing that we do in this society for our success. What is the next one?
Retirement.
Yes, it is usually happens. It is not, we should not have an effort to retire.
Vacation.
It is also we have usually. The third thing is that people do for their success.
Family?
Health.
Health?
Health is one of our purpose in this life. Health. We discuss the main thing. Actually, there are hundreds of things. Yes, there are hundreds of things that we like. But here we discuss very main 4 things. Health. Health is very important. Sometimes it is more important than having more money. The fourth one is morality. Or sadacharo, ethics, virtue. These 4 things is very important to succeed this life. Among other things, these 4 things are more important. Everybody, even, there are some people who doesn't believe any religion. They are non-religion people. Even they people, although they don't believe any religion, they also like these 4 things. According to in our language, Adhyapana, Arthika, Saukya, Sadachara. Adhyapana or education, and Arthika, economy or employment or money or wealth, and health, our physical, not only physical health, but the more important thing is our mental health. And also morality means when we live in the society, we should have good characters. If our character is not good, we can succeed in this society. If you steal, if you speak lies, then people don't believe you. You can go forward in this society. Therefore, even though you don't practice any religious activity or teaching, you should have a good morality or good character. According to Buddhism, this is the very surface level step that we should practice to succeed in this life. Actually, Buddhism is very practicable. It is so practicable. Even though, Buddha has enlightened, sometimes, when some people come to listen what Buddha taught, first of all, he has looked whether that person is hungry. Then, yes, sometimes there were some people who were listening to Buddha, they were hungry. Then Buddha called Reverend Ananda, please go to the dining room and search something to give him as food. Before he preached, he has given food for that people. He is very natural, he is practicable teacher. Therefore, always he explains his teachings as a very practicable path. Therefore, there are a lot of teachings in Buddhism how we succeed in this life itself. That is more important thing. Therefore, actually, although we should earn money, we should earn money in righteous way, correct way, correct way. Although we should have money, we can't steal, we can't cheat others. We do it in righteous way. If we practice righteous way, we can earn any money. We can earn. It is not a limit. Buddhism doesn't say a limit that you should earn money. In righteous way, we can earn hundreds of money, millions of money, billions of money we can earn. Not only earning, but we should be satisfied with what we earn.
That's not going to happen.
There are some people There are some people in the society, they are rich, they earn a lot of money, they have no ability to satisfy.
That's like Donald Trump.
And also, if we have children, if we have parents, if we have wives or husbands, we can share with them. And if there are some virtuous persons, we should offer something to others. It is very important to succeed this life. Buddhism has explained, when we offer something to others, food or their facilities, our longevity, our good complexion, our health, these things grow up. Not only hereafter, next birth, in this life, if we always take care of our parents, our elders, if we respect others, if always we do good deeds, then the results come to this life itself, not only hereafter. Therefore, these 4 things are very important in the very first level. There are a lot of teachings in Buddhism how we do it, especially for the morality. This is also very important. Even though we have good education, even though we are very rich, even though we are very healthy, if we have no good character, actually we are not happy in this society. Because always we think we have guilty consciousness. Therefore, these 4 things are very important. There are a lot of teachings we can see in Buddhism how we succeed in these 4 things. This is the very first step. What is the second step? We go forward little by little. The second step is doing meritorious deeds, merits, doing merits for our mental health, mental culture.
Is merits the same as dana, or it's different?
Yes, dana also one of the merits. Okay. There are 3 meritorious deeds: dana, sila, bhavana. Dana means generosity. Spelling is correct, David? Generosity, sila, or morality, or virtue, and meditation. These are the 3 meritorious deeds we can do for our mental health. When we do these kind of merits, Buddhism says, we decorate our mind. We do a lot of things to decorate our house, our clothes, our body, but we don't consider our mind. That's how we do to decorate our mind. Our happiness depends on how far we have decorated our mind, not only decorated our body or clothes. That is why for decoration to our mind, we have to practice this kind of merits. Some people think that we should do for these merits for success our next life. But it causes not only success for next birth. Actually, when we practice these things, we succeed in this life itself. On the other hand, we meet good friends. If our mind is in high position with merit, it means we meet the same position people. That is very important. If we steal always, we meet the robbers or steal person. If we always generous, then we can meet generous people. If you meditate, you can meet the people who meditate. If you have good morality or discipline in your speech and behavior, you can meet disciplined people. That is why we should practice these kind of things. This is the good blessing. You know, there are some people like Burmese people, Cambodian people, Vietnamese people, Thailand people, Chinese people. They practice generosity as good luck, as blessing. They actually, they mention that offering something is a good blessing. That is why every moment they are ready to offer something to others. Every morning, especially Asian people, they think that offering something is a good blessing for their life.
If you go to an Asian household, the first thing they'll do is say, "Are you hungry?"
Yes. In our country, in rural areas, after they cook something, they are waiting somebody near the road. First of all, they offer something to others. After that, they eat. Even they are in a restaurant, before they eat something, they offer something to others. They don't something to others. Actually, it comes to the people from Buddhist culture. Here, sometimes it is difficult because if food is polluted, they have some problems. Here, we can offer only water. But however, if we can practice these things, it decorates our mind. Generosity is the very first level. Actually, you are here because you are generous.
Why is that?
Why? That means you have offered your time here. When you come here, you offered even gas. At least you have spent some gas here. When you come here, it means you are generous. If you are so not generous, actually you can come here. You think it is very valuable. I want to go to work. It is expensive to go there, and that is because my gas price. You think many things before you come here. If you are not generous, actually unconsciously you are generous. That is why you are here. That is why you are listening to this message. Therefore, at the very if we are so always we think about money, actually, then we can make good important values in this world. Therefore, generosity is very important. Virtue means, again, it comes here, discipline in our speech and behavior. If we have good discipline, it means we have no mistakes in our life. Even though we have mistakes, we can overcome them, don't worry. But the special thing, when we start this step, we can overcome some mistakes in our life. As much as we know, we can correct our life. Even Buddha's period, when Buddha was living, there were some disciples, before they entered Buddhism, they had a lot of mistakes. Like Angulimala, he has killed hundreds of people. But after he met the Buddha, he corrected his life. He developed his discipline in his behavior and speech. Then any time we can go to the correct path, as much as we are knowledgeable. The third one is meditation. Meditation is used many people in the society for their mental health. We do a lot of things for our physical health, but more important thing is our mental health. Especially here, a lot of scientists, not only scientists, especially the psychologists, psychiatrists, they have recommended the importance of practicing loving kindness to stress management.
It's true.
Yes, last 5 decades, you believe all psychiatrists and psychologists have recommended to practice mindfulness and loving kindness for mental health, stress management. For stress management, we mostly suffer because of anger. Therefore, if we can practice loving kindness day by day, it means we reduce our stress. We can do stress management by practicing loving kindness meditation. Breathing meditation also very important. Actually, we are so lucky. We have a good meditation technique always in our body. We are going here and there. We go very fast searching happiness, but the object of happiness is near. Having good object, valuable object for real happiness, we go far, searching happiness in outside. Actually, the real happiness is here.
I read yesterday that 3 universities, they conducted an experiment with people who meditated, and with 50 people who meditated, they had their minds 7 years on average, 7 years younger than their real birth age. Mm-hmm. So they kept their mind younger than what they really.
Mm-hmm. Yes, actually that is the common experiment. But according to Buddhism, our age depends on not only our physical body. Our age depends on our attitude. When you live, you think always, now I am 30, now I am 30, now I am 30. Do you think? No, we don't think. Sometimes 1 minute, 1 second we think about our age. We don't think our age. Actually, we mostly live mentally. When our mind is pure and calm, we don't care our age, or even we are sick, we don't care it. Because our attitude is very high. Therefore, that is why Buddha has explained, even we are in the old age, if we can grow our attitude or hold some deeds, hold some emotions in our mind, then we can live mentally. Then that is also very important. Actually, physically, when our mind is very pure, we are healthy. We are healthy, it is correct. But especially when we go to the little deep level in Buddhism, even though we are so sick, even though we are close to death, it doesn't matter, we are happy. Even though we are going with the stick, actually we are living mentally, we are so happy. We are young in mentally. That is the purpose of Buddhism. And that is why Buddha said, now I am at the age of 80. Although I am 80, I am so strong with my mind. Even though 4 people are answering something from me at one time, I can give answers same time for those 4 people. Even though I am so weak physically. That is the benefit of practicing mind. Therefore, here, our real success depends on how far we have trained our mind with mindfulness. Some people in this society, they think that they are successful when they have good education. When they are so rich, they think that they are successful. But Buddhism doesn't say that they are successful. Our real success depends on how far we have trained our mind in the correct way. How we have protected our mind from negative emotions. Especially, there are 3 emotions always disturb our peace of mind. But they are anger or ill will, and lust, craving or big attachment or desire, and delusion or ignorance. These 3 things always disturb our peace of mind. These are the real enemies who are in our life. We usually think that enemies are outside, but real enemies are inside. These are the enemies who disturb our peace of mind. When we practice meditation, we overcome these enemies. Our success depends on how far we have overcome these 3 enemies: desire, anger, and delusion. Desire means not only just desire, it is with lust or craving or big attachment. Then these are the things that we do the second step for decoration our mind. We decorate our mind by practicing these three meritorious deeds. Buddha says, not only living this life, but Buddha said, Punyam Sukham Jivita Sankyamhi. In Buddha's language, Pali, Buddha said, having merit by practicing these three things is the success of at the end of this life. When we close to the death, if we have done a lot of meritorious deeds, we are so happy. Now my life is successful. I have helped others. I have taken care of my parents. I have done a lot of things for the society. I have practiced my virtue and meditation. Now I am so happy. Then he have no unsatisfactoriness. That is one of the purpose that doing these three meritorious deeds. Day by day, when we do this, when we practice these meritorious deeds, it means our healthy, our longevity gradually grow up. Not only hereafter, in this short life itself. That is why we should do it. This is the second step that Buddha has recommended to succeed for happiness. You know, this is not the identity in Buddhism. Why is that? Other religious people also practice these things. Not only religious people, but you know, sometimes, although some people have no any religion, they also practice some kind of levels in these three things. This is not the common thing. This is not the special thing in Buddhism. Some people have understood Buddhism has explained only these three things. That is why they think everywhere we can see the same light. In the mosque, in the church, in the temple, in the four-wheel, everywhere we can see the same light. Some people think that, but it is not the same light. Pahana, Pradeepa, Pahana light, candle. Some people think that every temple, every religious people, we can see the same candle. Actually, according to Buddhism, it is not same. Why is that? Buddhism has explained other steps. Until this level, the candle is same. When we go to the next level, Buddhist candle is different. Buddhist life is different. Buddhist light is different. What is that? In this level is the very, very important thing. If you know that next or final step, then you know that Buddha appeared in the world. When we go to this level, as I mentioned before, we should have clear understanding about the suffering. Other people also have understood suffering, death, old age, sickness, lamentation. They have understood these things as suffering. But in Buddhist way, it is not only the suffering. It is not the real suffering. The real cause of suffering is ignorance. What does ignorance happen? Actually, you know, when we go to the third level, at the very beginning of this path, Buddha said, we should clear our vision, our point of view. In this level, we should have correct vision, right understanding what happens to the world. What is our life? Our life is when we get some experience through our six senses, ear, eye, nose, These are the senses where through that we get experience. When we see something, this experience happens at the moment. It is suddenly happens. Suddenly this experience arises. Not only arising, but suddenly it ceases without remaining anything. When you listening this sound, you listening to it. Before you listening it was not here. After you listening to it, nothing remains here. This is same to all our senses. When you see something, actually this experience was not here. After you see this picture, nothing remains here. But because of ignorance, what happens to us? We think, before I look at this, this was here. After I go away, still it is here. Actually, it is correct according to conventional truth. There are both truths in Buddhism. One of them is conventional truth, Sammuti Satya. According to Sammuti Satya, before you came here, the temple was here. After you will go away, the temple remains. It is true, but it is true only in conventional truth. When we go to the ultimate truth, the ultimate truth is explained in Buddhism. It is very important for the final bliss of liberation, enlightenment, Nibbana. According to ultimate truth, before our senses open, the world is not here. After our experience, it doesn't remain. But because of our ignorance or delusion, we always think before our experience, it was here. After we experience, it remains. This is the main cause of suffering. This is the delusion. This is the ignorance. This is the worst wrong thing in our life. According to Buddhism, there are 3 unwholesome roots. There are 3 unwholesome roots. What they are? Lobha, or desire, dvesha, anger, moha. Moha means delusion or ignorance. What about lobha? Buddhism says lobha is danda viraga alpasavajya. Danda viraga means it is very difficult to overcome, but the result is not huge. How about anger? Anger means kippa viraga mahasavajya. We can overcome anger suddenly, but the results are huge. How about moha or avidya or ignorance? It is danda viraga mahasavajya. It is very difficult to overcome and result also very huge. Therefore, among them, at the very beginning of the third level, we should have clear knowledge about the impermanence or ignorance. This is the heart of Buddhism, Mr. David. You know, this is the heart of Buddhism. We should do everything with this understanding as a real Buddhist. And you know, we can see a lot of people in the world, they do a lot of good deeds. They help others, they are so happy, they are always helpful for others, they are so generous. There are many people in the world. Actually, when they have some things to cry, They cry as usual people. They have no difference. When somebody died who is very close to them, they cry. When they have problems, they are upset. Even though they do a lot of medicine. They have no difference. But as a real Buddhist, when we go to this final level, we do everything with this vision. It is like a very good, very powerful light flash. Light in this flash, we go everywhere. Same impermanence. With the understanding of the Paticcasamuppada or dependent origination. Then, with that understanding, in this level, we have to practice three things. This is the topic of our today lesson. Just now, we came to the topic. Okay, Mr. David? Just now, we came to the topic. Now we are going to start our lesson.
Well, the Buddha said it's a long path, right?
Yes, long path. If you are so intelligent, the path is very short. When we have no good intelligence, then the path is so long. You know, there are if there is some distance, if we have good vehicle, we can go far. If somebody has no vehicle, he takes long period to go there, long time. Then, like vehicle, our intelligence is like a vehicle. Even though the path is so far, although it has a long distance, if we have good vision, intelligence, then we have very quick vehicle. Then, with the understanding of dependent origination, now we are going to discuss the threefold discipline. Here there are three. First thing is the sila. Sila means virtue or morality. First one. And second one is samadhi. Samadhi means concentration or tranquility. Concentration. And third one is the panya. Panya means, Mr. David? Wisdom. These three things are interrelated. With the good understanding, with the understanding of dependent origination, when we start with sila, the other things gradually start. Sila means, with that understanding, we try to discipline our speech and behavior. We do everything with mindfulness. Here, finally, although there are four things, actually, we practice only three. Mindfulness. This is the major topic in Buddhism. Mindfulness combined with intelligence. Mindfulness means we do everything with consciousness, awareness, mindfulness. And mindfulness with our body and mind. Then here sila means whatever we talk, we do it with awareness, with mindfulness. And whatever we have behavior, we do it mindfully. Then Buddha has explained the very important thing is that practicing mindfulness. There is a very special discourse. I think you have heard or you have read it. Maha Satipatthana Sutta, the great discourse of mindfulness. and it says how we practice mindfulness. Mindfulness can be applied into 4 ways. Mr. David, I think you read that article that I gave you on Sunday. Mindfulness. Mindfulness can be divided into 4. Kayanupassana, the contemplation of body. Vedanupassana, the contemplation of feelings. Chittanupassana, the contemplation of consciousness. Dhammanupassana, the contemplation of mental formations. When we practice these 4 kind of mindfulnesses, then we gradually go on this path. Virtue means we do everything physically and verbally with mindfulness. It doesn't sound we are so lazy, we are like this. Actually, we are so active. We study, we do jobs, we help others, we clean here, we get up early. We do everything than other people do. We are so active. But we do everything with mindfulness. The second level, samadhi. Samadhi means we try to train our mind using a particular wholesome object. Believe that our success depends on how long you are clever to keep your mind with a particular object, wholesome object. If we can keep our mind at least 1 minute, actually although we have a lot of degrees, although we are so rich, we have no proficiency. We are not clever. Our proficiency, our skillfulness, our success, our happiness depends on how long we are clever to keep our mind with a particular wholesome meditation object. Such as breathing meditation, loving kindness meditation, may all beings be well and happy. These are the meditation techniques that we can use to train our mind. Actually, it is not easy, but on the other hand, it is not difficult. When we train our mind again and again daily, as a daily routine, when we go to some level, it is difficult. But when we overcome that level, it is our regular, usual activity, like a routine. Up to some levels, we should do it forcefully. We should do it with good effort. But when we overcome that kind of level, then it comes to our life, our body, as a habit. Then our happiness depends on practicing our mind. We are uncomfortable, we don't practice our mind. When we train our mind again and again. Then Buddha said, mindfulness is the best friend of our life. Our real best friend is here, not outside. If we forget mindfulness, be sure we have lost our best friend. It means we have some kind of cravings or desire in our mind. When we worry, when we are unhappy, when we are unsatisfied, be sure at that moment we have no mindfulness. Buddha said, this is the thing where you should stay, you should live. This is our parents' field. Our parents' field. Field means land. Mindfulness means pittu vise, sake pettike vise charata. Dear bhikkhus or devotees, try to live in the land of your parents. This is the land of your father or mother. If you live in your father's or mother's land, you are protected. You have safety. If you go away from your parents' land, you have no safety. Then until you live in this field or land, you have safety, security, protection. When you go away from this field, you are homeless, you are helpless, you have no real security. This is the Mara's or devil's field. The other land is devil's land. Until you live in this land of mindfulness or land of your parents, you have safety, protection, security. Then, when we go on this path, little by little, we go forward with mindfulness. And this level, with concentrated mind, we think again what we learned before, the dependent origination. According to wisdom, we reflect on the three things, the three characteristics. Mr. David, what are the three characteristics
of mindfulness?
Three characteristics: impermanence, anicca, dukkha, suffering, anatta, egolessness or no soul. By practicing panya or wisdom, we reflect on these three realities in the world. Now, impermanence is one of our enemies. When we go this path, these three things are our close friends. Now we mention them as our enemies. Impermanence, suffering and egolessness, we think as our enemies. But by practicing these three steps of disciplines, we try to live with them. It means we live in impermanence. Every moment, when we see something, the experience arises, suddenly it ceases. When we hear something, suddenly it arises, ceases. When we smell something, it arises, ceases. Everywhere we see the impermanence. We have nothing remaining. It doesn't sound we forget. Buddhism never says that you should forget. We don't forget. If you forget something, you have a big mistake. Be sure, Mr. Pranandu. Buddhism never says that forget. We have a good memory. When we practice mindfulness, we can remember everything what happens to us up to our birth. Not only from birth. When we practice in the mindfulness, we can remember when we were in our mother's womb. That is the energy of by practicing mindfulness. Not only after we came to our mother's womb, we can remember millions of past lives as the result of practicing mindfulness.
I don't even remember yesterday.
It sounds that you have no mindfulness. Be sure. Be honest. Even, we can't remember what we ate for the breakfast. It sounds, when we do it, when we did it, we didn't have mindfulness. If we did it mindfully, actually we have good memory. It doesn't sound we run to the past. Sitting here, we remember everything. When you do some flash or something touch there, flash is here. We can focus everywhere. But we don't run there. We can flash everywhere. Living here. It doesn't sound that we go there. Mindfulness is like that. Living in the present moment. Living at the present moment, we can think everything in our life, past or future. It is not the fault. What is the fault? What is the cause of suffering? Yes, ignorance. With the power of ignorance, as soon as we remember something, our mind goes to past. When somebody comes here who has blamed you, as soon as you think, as soon as you meet that person, your mind runs to the past and your mind lives in the past. That is why you get angry. But with the present mind living in the present moment, you can remember that person comes here. But you don't get angry because of mindfulness. Because you live in the present moment. That is the benefit of practicing mindfulness. Buddhism always encourages us to go forward little by little by practicing mindfulness. Therefore, mindfulness is the best friend of our life. Be sure if you lose your mindfulness, you have lost your best friend. Then you are living with suffering. When we have mindfulness, actually, although we are sick, although we are in the old age, although we are near the death, we are not suffering. We have no suffering because of mindfulness. Our contemplation, our concentration, and our wisdom is in the high level. Here, these three things are very important. Little by little, we should try to go forward by practicing these three things. Before these three things, always we should try to go forward with good education, employment, health, morality, and also day by day we should try to practice virtue, generosity, virtue and meditation. And the third level, which is the highest level, which is the unity in Buddhism with the understanding of dependent origination. Every moment we practice mindfulness with these three things. Have you any problem? You can ask.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said that when we have the wisdom and we learn through mindfulness, we learn to live with the suffering, the impermanence, and egoism or selflessness. We learn how to live with them. They're not our enemies; they become our friends, right? How would you describe to live with the suffering? How can we cope with it? Like, for example, when you broke your arm, how did you feel or how did you react to that suffering?
Yes, very good question. That when we have some pain here, we try to bind it to body. We try to bind it to body. When we say something from my mouth, I try to bind it to my mouth or to some person. When we see the nature of this feeling arises this moment. Although you are suffering for a long time, actually, for example, now you are suffering with the hand pain. And now you are crying. When somebody who is your best friend, when he comes, what happens to you? Are you feeling suffering here? Sometimes you are happy. Hello, how are you for a long time? Come here. What happens to your pain? Actually, although we are suffering physically, the real thing is that the reality is we are suffering mentally. Then although we are suffering, although we have pains in our physical body, if we can think, if we have high attention, then we can overcome these sufferings. That friend, now he is a best friend. In the future, he may be an enemy. But when you think the high demand qualities or doctrines in Buddhism, such as Satta Bojjhanga, the 7 enlightenment factors, and Four Noble Truths, when you think these kind of high level world reality teachings, then your mind is so rich with wisdom. Then even though you are suffering physically, actually it doesn't belong to you. You don't catch them as yours. Now when I have a pain, I think this is my pain. This is my body pain. Now I am keeping here as mine. Then when we have knowledge of wisdom, although we are suffering physically, we don't get it as my or mine. That is the difference, because we have understood the reality of this pain or feelings.
So, I just had a question, general question. So, the Buddha, did he have any suffering at all? Any kind of...
Actually, physically, we can have some kind of feelings. Even Buddha had some kind of physical feelings, but not mental feelings, mental pains. For example, when he didn't eat something, he was hungry.
Well, there's a picture of him with skin and bones.
That is before he enlightenment.
Yes.
Even after he enlightened, if he didn't eat, he was hungry, like we. But he doesn't mention that this is my hungry. Now when we are hungry, we think that this is my hungry, my body is hungry. Now we have caught it as my or mine. Because of ignorance, now we have taken everything as my or mine. With the understanding of ignorance, with the understanding of world reality, actually, although we are suffering with physically, it doesn't go to our mind. Now, when somebody hit me, then physically this pain is same for me and for Arhantas, for Buddha. But when somebody hit me, then it suddenly overcomes, then still I am thinking about the person who hit me. That is the more disadvantage because of ignorance. I am going to bind that pain to that person who hit me. Like this sound. This sound doesn't belong to table, pen or my ears. This sound arises because of these reasons, conditions, but we can't bind it to anything. Yes, causality. Then that pain also like that. That physical pain arises here, but that pain doesn't belong to my body. Because of this understanding, we can overcome suffering.
So that's the selflessness aspect of not attaching things to your ego, to you. It's just, it happened, so it's not yours.
Yes, with this understanding, we don't get it as my or mine. That's the difference with the understanding. That is why after we enlighten, we always live with this understanding, impermanence, suffering and egolessness. Then at that time, all of these are around us. We see them. Now we are afraid of them. We are running away from these three things. We have fear about these three things. Now, actually we can't run from these three things. Like shadow. If you are afraid of your shadow, when you run, you can overcome your shadow? No. You have to run with your shadow. These three things also like that. You know, last time I saw a very small video in YouTube. There is a very small kid. He looks like that. He runs. He is afraid of his shadow. He thinks that there are another person here. Finally, he fell down. We are also like that. Now we are afraid of these three things, but with the understanding of the reality, we live with them as friends. Okay, thank you for your coming. Now we are going to end of our Dhamma discussion. Thank you for your coming. Now, this time, we transfer these merits that we accumulated to our departed relatives. That is our tradition. At the end of any meritorious deed, good deed, we usually transfer the merits that we accumulated mentally to our beloved departed relatives. That is one of the Buddhist traditions. Now, we are going to do that. Think about your departed relatives, maybe your parents or your elders, your sisters or brothers, all of them, if they need some merits from us, may they achieve this merit, may they have this merits, and by having these merits, may they achieve good life. Finally, may they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our departed relatives kindly. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these merits, may guardian deities and angels also receive these merits. By receiving these merits, they may keep their eye on you too. They may protect you. They also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to guardian deities and angels too. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṁ anumoditvā ciraṁ rakkhantu sāsanam. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṁ anumoditvā ciraṁ rakkhantu desanam. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṁ anumoditvā ciraṁ rakkhantu tvaṁ sadā. By the power of all these merits that we accumulated at the moment, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. Day by day, your life may succeed. Finally, may all of us attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantā ca niddukkhaṃ bhayam pantā ca nibhayā sokam pantā ca nissokā hantu sabbhe pipānino. Dukin telena sat dukin medetvā diyen telena sat diya neti vetvā sovim te venesat somnas vetvā nitin me hamasat suapat vetvā. All the blessings be with you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.